be real with you right now, having just made that statement, I do feel a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit daunted by the magnitude of the challenge. I am no way near as fit as I need to be. You know, what I want to achieve, only a select few individuals have done so far.
We ain't never backing down, we ain't never gonna stop. We gon' take it to the limit, we gon' take it to the top. We ain't never giving up, we ain't never gonna stop. To the very last second, till we're running out the clock.
Got a busy couple of weeks coming up. We're basically selling a lot of our furniture. We've had an amazing time back in the UK, but yeah, we're looking forward to heading back to Bali in 2 weeks' time for the next year. So yeah, a few things to sort out, a few last people to see, and then I'm just looking forward to getting a bit more structure back into my training and work routine. I had an unbelievable rhythm and routine before I came back, so yeah, just looking forward to getting my head down and getting a bit more focused to the training. This will shut him up. Right. You carrot? Good boy. Right, off you go. See you later. I think the way the brand and the race and the event has gone over the last few years, it's huge now. It's recognized all over the world. And you know, I've said I love to push myself and challenge myself, and I want to put myself out there. You know, what I want to achieve, only a select few individuals have done so far, and I know deep down that I'm capable of doing this. I think because so few people have done it. And you know, I know that I'm capable of reaching this time and hitting this goal. It's going to require a lot of training, and you know, I'm willing to push myself to achieve this. The big thing is going to be the running programming, the running stimulus.
What do I like about running? If you've experienced the runner's high, you'll understand and appreciate what that feels like. It's unlike any other drug. It feels incredible. But the headspace that comes with, the headspace and the clarity that comes with running is what I enjoy. And I feel like compared to any other cardio output, you really feel like you've worked your cardiovascular system and your lungs when you've finished you know, a threshold session or an interval session. It just feels good, man. It feels good. And obviously, the challenge that I'm gonna try to achieve requires quite a great deal of running, so I need to enjoy it somewhat.
Running, believe it or not, as a 93 kilo lad actually comes quite naturally to me. I always used to pride myself on being the fittest in the rugby team, and I used to take myself off for runs, you know, every day on school holidays. So I feel like I've got that base level of fitness I can tap into. I know I'm capable of achieving this goal. So it's about putting a plan in place, putting it out there to the world, and then obviously executing it on race day. So my goal next season, is to run a sub 65-minute high rocks in the pro men's division.
I'm not gonna lie, daughter has gonna yagi, her brain fried. My lady Papa Zenny, other lady popping Molly, why she waiting on me? Yogi my area, keep on heading if you want, I drive it like a nut. I don't wanna hear you, 지겹잖아, 이제 넌 like I'm Bango, cutting my hair. I just keep going though, 소식껏 날 믿고 I fly non-stop, Kelly에서 New York, 구름 위로 hop on, drive out and riding birds, honeyberry counting gobs, I do what I wanna do, 그게 나의 문의원, 너넨 꿈꾸지 말만 많지, just do it. Like Nike, just do it, get to know me and I 내 flow가 작은 눈이 분위기는 chill, Fendi snakes on my belt, yeah I'm feeling first class.
To be real with you, I feel a bit apprehensive, a bit nervous, having just put that out into the world. The magnitude of the task and what I need to do to achieve that time is huge. I am nowhere near as fit as I need to be right now, but with you know, a good program and a good plan in place, I'm very confident I can get there. So for context, I've done one 𝗲𝗪𝗀 before in April 22. It was part of my rehab process actually, and my main goal, the sole goal of the race, was just to complete it pain-free, which is what I did. So I think I was averaging 5:20, 5:25 splits, and I did the whole race in an hour 19. So I was running on average 5:20 splits per kilometer of running in the 𝗲𝗪𝗀 race. To achieve the time that I want to achieve for the 𝗲𝗪𝗀 next season, I need to be running sub 4 splits. More around the 3:45, 3:50 mark consistently per kilometer, obviously with the stations of work. So I need to basically drop my split time down from 5:20 to about 3:50. There's always been a lot of noise in the fitness industry, and you know, I'm sure you've heard the phrase "talk is cheap," and you know, put your money where your mouth is. And you know, I'm a firm believer that if you talk the talk, you have to walk the walk. And you know, I'm feeling, as I said, a bit apprehensive, a bit nervous, having put the challenge out into the world. But I'm confident I can walk the walk. When I did my previous 𝗲𝗪𝗀 back in April last year, the big thing that slowed down my overall time was my transition time. I wasn't nearly as fit as I needed to be in terms of my overall aerobic capacity, and you know, I was hands on knees, I was, you know, gasping for air, taking too long sipping water, and that's what really slowed me down. So in terms of designing a program and implementing a program to be as effective as possible on race day, in order for me to achieve this time, I need to be unbelievably efficient at transitioning between run and movement. So the programming design is going to be heavily centered around catering towards being not only efficient at the movements, but obviously transitioning between the two. So the big focus point for me is getting unbelievably efficient at the prowler, because I think that's where you can not necessarily make up a lot of time, but you can certainly lose a lot of time. So that's going to be a big focal point for me. As for the other movements, you know, these are movements I've been practicing for the last 5-6 years. So wall balls, carries, lunges, you know, rowing, ski, you know, these are all movements I'm pretty good and I'd consider a strength. So in terms of, you know, programming those, I of course need to make sure I'm staying efficient and not losing any time. But in terms of maximizing and making time up on the clock, that's not where you're going to be making up much time. You know, you've got to hit a certain split on the row, a certain split on the ski, and make sure you execute all the movements at a good pace. But it's the running, it's the transitions, and potentially the prowler that you're going to make up or lose the most amount of time. In terms of the word there, efficiency and capacity, so you take the 8 movements and you work on those in isolation just by themselves, and you build your capacity up of that skill to a certain point. You then pair it with low to medium to high aerobic fatigue. Now this fatigue could be, you know, case in point, you know, a running fatigue. So you jump on a treadmill, you hit your kilometer interval, you then try and execute the movement under fatigue. And this is how you develop your efficiency and overall capacity, by getting better at performing these movements under fatigue. It's so simple on paper with the running and the 8 movements, but if you dig deeper and you want to become, you know, one of the best, if not the best in the world, you have to look at every minute detail to really become, you know, as efficient as possible. So training for me is going to center heavily around being the best hybrid athlete I can possibly be, which will include the Olympic lifting, the strength, the gymnastic and functional bodybuilding elements, as well as the 𝗲𝗪𝗀 stimulus. So right now I've put the challenge out into the world and I'm just chomping at the bit to start this new training block and get after it.